Yo, what's up? And welcome to episode 38 of Throwback Hoops. My name is Rob Clayton, and joining me as he does every week is my main man, Woody V. Woods, what's happening?
A lot, man. A lot's going on in the world of basketball. Wearing this Hawks hat proudly, bro, and I think we'll get into it throughout the episode.
You're not wearing a DeJounte Murray jersey as well to match that hat, eh?
No, not today.
Looking forward to discuss that. So, all right, well, just before we get into it, guys, so just a quick reminder where to find us. Please make sure you watch our videos and like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening to the audio, the podcast is available on all podcast channels. Please make sure you like, rate, and subscribe. All right, so let's get into it. We've got a fair bit to talk about today, Woods, but as always, we'll start off with our jerseys. As the viewers will know, we've had a bit of a theme for the month of June. We're now the 1st of July as we recorded this, but the theme is Aussies in the NBA. So who are you rocking today?
Someone I'm very fond of and someone who we'll talk about a little bit because, as we said, a lot happening in the world of basketball. And I'll just get up and you can just talk.
Hey, Wood's got to say before you stand up, it's a bit ironic. You can see the name at the top of my jersey, the team, and you're standing up and what you're wearing. So the viewers will click on what we mean in a second.
Exactly. So let me just stand up and why don't you take everyone through what jersey I'm wearing?
Yeah. So Woody's standing up wearing a Utah Jazz home jersey, number 2, none other than our Aussie, Joe Ingles. Now, I know Woody's is a big fan of Jingles there, and he'll have a few nice things to say about him.
Yeah,
nice jersey, bro.
Thanks, man. And for all the viewers that can't see, Robbie's wearing a Milwaukee Bucks jersey. And we just got news today that Joe Ingles had signed a 1-year deal with Milwaukee. So that's really exciting for him coming back from that injury, right, Robbie?
And so that news wasn't broke by Woj or Shams or anyone, was it? It was broke
by Renee Ingles.
By Renee Ingles. Nice. That was a big scoop there. But no, I like that move. We'll talk about a little bit about that later. So, yeah, what do you got to say about your boy there?
Yeah, well, Joe Ingles was initially a throw-in that acquisition of Dante Exum because the Jazz wanted to make sure that he had a fellow Australian there to help him get acclimatized to, life playing in the pros. So after all of that, it was Joe Ingles that became the favorite son in Utah. And he ended up being, by the time he's left now, the highest ever three-point field goals made in the history of the Jazz. So what a great career he's had up to date, and he serviced the Utah team well, and even off the court, his family was heavily involved in the community. Yeah. And just a little bit about Joe Ingles. He started off his career as NBL Rookie of the Year, and he's played a few years here in the NBL and won a championship actually in 2009, I think it was, with the South Dragons.
Yep, and they folded shortly after, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And then he went over and had a great career over in Europe and teamed up in Spain with Ricky Rubio, who later on became his teammate at the Jazz. They were playing at Barcelona together. So they developed that really good friendship. And he's just been a terrific Australian, someone who wears that jersey with pride. No one was happier than he, alongside Patty Mills and those guys when they were able to win that bronze medal at the Olympics. Just an all-round great guy and someone who's used his talent to the best of his ability to maximize what he can do. Great playmaker, great three-point shooter, great teammate. I'm really looking forward to see him teaming up with Giannis there. Obviously, Giannis also teamed up with his good friend Matthew Dellavedova once upon a time in Milwaukee. So
you know what I love about Ingles there, Woody? He's got a bit of that Aussie mongrel in him, doesn't he? He just doesn't take any crap from anyone. Normally, he's the one giving it out. Loves his trash talk, and I love that. Love that way about him.
And also the great work he's done with autism and kids with autism. His own child has it, and 100%. He's been a great ambassador off the court as well. So he's a great basketball player. He's had a great career, but he's also a terrific human being.
Well said, Woods, as always. I love the jersey. I do prefer my green Joe Ingles one that I've got, but hey, that's still a nice one you've got there, right? But
thanks, buddy.
Nice one. All right, well, I'll talk us through. So, yeah, as I said, it's kind of our last episode of doing the Aussies and the NBA jerseys there. So I thought I might hang up possibly one of the rarest Aussies and the NBA jerseys that one might find there. So as you can see, hanging behind me is the red number 41 Chicago Bulls. So I know people are probably sitting there thinking, Chicago Bulls and an Aussie. It's not Chris Anstey. Who the heck is that guy? So who the heck that guy is none other than a Cameron Bairstow Adidas Chicago Bulls rookie jersey. What do you think about that, Woods?
Awesome. I think you're the only one in the world that
I think so. I think
has one of those.
Cam Bairstow's mum might have one
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. The Bairstow
her,
family might have
that's
one of those, but yeah.
So a little bit of info on Bairstow. So he played 2 seasons in the NBA after getting drafted by Chicago at pick 49 in the 2014 draft out of New Mexico. Incidentally, another big man from Australia also went to New Mexico and Chicago, none other than our own Luke Longley. So look, Bairstow, he played with the Bulls for 2 seasons. He had 3 starts in those 2 seasons, which was pretty cool. Before returning to Australia, where he's put up great numbers. He's played with Brisbane, Illawarra, and Adelaide. Had another big injury last year, and that seems to be the big issue with him, doesn't it? He certainly produces when he's healthy, but I think staying on the court has been a bit of an issue for him. But he's still only 31 years old there, Wood, so hopefully he can have some further productive seasons. I believe he's a free agent at the moment.
He is.
We spoke the other day. If either one of our teams, the Wildcats or the Kings, were to pick him up as a backup big there, I'm sure we'd both be very pleased with that. He's certainly got some skills there.
Well, he showed he was good enough to start last year, because Isaac Humphries was out and absolutely dominating it, automatic 10 and 10 guy almost, right?
Absolutely. So big time. He's improved a bit of range and stuff with his shot and that there. So so that's my very random Cam Bairstow Chicago Bulls jersey. So look, I'll just stand up and show you the other one I'm wearing today. A bit of a name that's probably topical at the moment, but I'll stand up and show you who I'm rocking.
So Robbie's wearing the green Milwaukee Bucks Thon Maker jersey. An absolute classic looking jersey.
Pretty rare one too, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I love the look of that particular style of
good,
those Milwaukee jersey. And we saw Thon last night, obviously, make his return.
Didn't
to
do
basketball.
a whole lot, did he?
Didn't do the whole lot. I mean, he looked like, Kane Pittman was saying that he's only played 20 odd games since the pandemic. You could really see that he was lacking some time on the court.
I think he had as many turnovers and fouls as he did points and rebounds combined, I think, from looking at the stats at the end. But, all right, well, just a little bit about Thon Maker there. So as I mentioned, this is his green Adidas Milwaukee Bucks rookie jersey. He played 5 seasons in the NBA after getting drafted by Milwaukee at pick 10 in the 2016 draft straight out of high school. Maker was born in South Sudan before moving to my hometown of Perth at age 5. He played with the Bucks, Pistons, and Cavs. He's currently, I think he's currently in the NBA G League with Long Island. I think that's more the last team that he was on. So obviously he's looking for a fresh gig this season. Look, we've probably got to be honest, Woods, as much as we do love this guy, a little bit of a disappointment. Only 25 years of age, picked 10 in the draft and already sort of out of the league there. So we'd love to see him get back in there. Of course, there is a chance that he gets that second chance in the NBA. But if not, come and play for the Perth Wildcats. We'll gladly have you here, even though we don't have a coach at the moment. You can come and play for us, and we'll show you what it's like to play for a winning organisation if you scrapped last year. So look, there's certainly some good pedigree in this family, isn't there, Wood? So his brother Matua recently earned an NBL championship with your Kings alongside cousin Makura. He's got a cousin, Alir, who plays for Port Adelaide in the AFL. So, as I said, very talented family there. Certainly wish Thon all the best there. I wouldn't mind. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see him with Perth, but just to see him back in the NBL, if it did happen to be with Melbourne or another team, it would be nice to sort of see him back here. That's my jerseys for the week. So I've got to say, Woods, I don't have a Thon or a Cam Bairstow bobblehead, but come on, man, a Cam Bairstow Bulls jersey. That might be one of my rarest. So
definitely. I like it too, man. Yeah, and good way to end the month, representing the Aussies in the NBA. I think we did a really good job showcasing some terrific jerseys during the month.
It was funny. I actually couldn't find my Thon one in the cupboard, and I was digging through, and I found one I forgot I had. I had a Ryan Brokoff Dallas Mavericks jersey, so I was like, "Oh, do I wear that?" And I thought, "No, I'm gonna rock the Thon Maker one." But
well, we're actually recording on July 1st, so even though we did it in June, it's just we finished it off here with our last few. Right?
Hey, should we be honest and tell the viewers and the listeners? So we actually did record this podcast a couple of days ago, but the company that we use to host our podcast service basically dropped the ball and they lost our episode. So we're dedicating another lot of time to re-record this episode, but we're doing it with a smile on our face. And to be honest, since we did record that night, there has been a lot of stuff that's gone down. So
absolutely.
So, well, let's get into that stuff we were talking about, right? So,
sure thing, buddy.
So look, I thought before we get into the free agency stuff, obviously the NBA draft took place exactly a week ago in Brooklyn there. I wanted to talk about that. It was really great to see Aussies Dyson Daniel get selected at pick 8 by the Pels, as well as my boy Luke Travis getting selected at pick 56 by the Cavs. Also, the 2 French NBL next stars also getting drafted: Ousmane Dieng at pick 11, Hugo Besson at the very last pick 58. What were your thoughts on all those forwards? And do you think they're good fits? And what are your thoughts on their situations there?
Yeah, let's start off with Luke Travis. I mean, this kid was probably not looking at getting drafted at all. He was falling out of the top 100 when the draft boards were coming up. He had a down year with the Perth Wildcats, but he really put in a lot of work and impressed in all his one-on-one workouts or group workouts with the various NBA teams. He
showed his IQ, I think, didn't he? That's a big thing.
And a very versatile player at his size that can do a lot of things. It's not necessarily about being a stud in the NBA. If you can fill a role effectively and be a good role player, then you're going to get an opportunity. And he put in that hard work. I think his game is well suited to that, to the NBA style. And he climbed up those draft boards, and going to Cleveland is going to be great for him. Cleveland's got the history with Australians, as we know.
Yeah.
And I think fair play to him and congrats, because I didn't see it happening. I know the sports blokes and a few others got a tweet that I made a few months ago about Luke Travis is not getting drafted, and now I've got a bit of egg on my face, man.
But fair call though, Woods. I mean, you're not going to get a bigger homer, Perth Wildcats homer than me. And I thought it was probably a slim chance he'd get drafted, but you're right. The way he played this year, I mean, I think a few people commented he's probably not even a starter in the NBL at this level at the moment, but we've got to remember how young the guy is and obviously how much upside he's got with his ball skills and that IQ we sort of spoke about there. So yeah, really pleased. Hopefully I'll be ordering a Cleveland Cavs jersey if he ends up sticking to that roster. Yeah. What did you think about the other three then?
Yeah, let's move on to the other Australian, Dyson Daniels. And I mean, the kid's got so much talent. And for him to go to New Orleans is going to be a great situation for him.
Good situation, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say, these two guys, Grand Theft Alvarado and Dyson Daniels coming off the bench, wreaking havoc, in the backcourt. Great for that team. You got CJ McCollum, who can be a great mentor for him there. By all reports, we're going to have Zion Williamson coming back and playing, looking a lot more healthy this year. That team's looking nice. A lot better, and I think it's a good fit for him. And yeah, the world is his oyster. So really happy, and he could end up being one of the greatest Australian server play in the NBA, man. I know it's a big call, but he has all the skills to actually translate that game.
Still growing as well, right? So yeah, that's obviously good. He's got all the tools and that. I know there was something else that caught me with Dyson Daniels on draft day.
His mother, man. Oh my God. Dyson Daniels' mother stole the show, right?
The internet was buzzing after she made
an Twitter, Instagram, all social media was going off about Dyson's mother. But good to see that his parents came.
Hey, very good looking family. You got to be honest.
Very good looking family, and really proud of the kid. And he took that route to go through the G League Unite to get to the NBA.
Yep.
So it was a good opportunity for him. He got to play in the Next Stars Challenge and be present at All-Star Weekend, learn from the likes of Rick Barry. I think these opportunities put him in good stead, and he'll be prepared to take the league to the next level, man.
No, good call. And what about the two Frenchies?
Yeah, the two New Zealand Breakers, right?
Like they keep saying the New Zealand NBL or whatever. I keep hearing people say that. It's like, no, playing the New Zealand in the NBL. Yeah,
okay, well, we'll start off with Osimhen Deng, right? Am I saying that right?
I think you say it different every time you say it. Yeah. I've been saying Ousmane Dieng.
Okay, Ousmane Dieng.
I didn't take French at school either.
The kid is young, and he's got a huge upside, with someone with that kind of body, athleticism that can do a lot of things. He's going to have to learn on the job, and I think OKC is going to be a great situation for him. OKC's a team that's in rebuild mode, and they've given Josh Giddey the chance to, learn on the job and make mistakes on the job. And a guy like Poku, Chevsky, and these talented raw players, you go to OKC and you can learn a bit there, because if you're in a situation where a team is trying to win, then you're probably not going to get that opportunity to play as much. So I think it's good for him to go there, and we might not see the best of him for a few years yet, but
I hope they've got a decent strength and conditioning coach at OKC. Woods, I've got to say, you've got Dieng, you've got Chet Holmgren, you've got
Poku,
your boy Poku. So I think if you add the combined weights of those three, it adds up to 180 kilos or something like that, right? So there's a lot of work to do, but it's certainly, like you said, a lot of upside there.
And we saw in the back half of the NBL season, how good a player he can be. We saw the potential was right there, and we saw glimpses of that. The first half of the season, he was struggling to play alongside grown men and whatnot, but as he got the knack of things and got used to that environment, we saw him really develop. So really excited to see what comes of Ousmane Dieng. All right,
what about Hugo Besson?
Okay, Hugo Besson, man, like 58th pick, the last pick in the draft, right?
Mr. Irrelevant, yeah. Yep.
And I was really surprised he dropped that low, because during the NBL season, he was as high as 20 on some draft
He did
boards.
drop a lot, didn't he?
And you got a guy who can straight up play make a little bit for his teammates, shoot the ball really, really well. He can attack the basket. He's got a full bag of tricks, and bit like Evan Fournier, Nando De Colo, his fellow countrymen.
Yep.
He has those kind of similarities. So, but I think he's ready. He's more ready than some of the aforementioned guys.
He'll be playing with Joe Ingles, won't he?
He will be. So, that's. I mean, he's going to have a good situation there on that veteran ball club, and learning from the likes of Jingles and Drew Holiday and Giannis and co, that it's going to put him in good stead for sure. So,
yeah. No, either way, look, congratulations to all four for sort of getting drafted. It was very sort of special watching that, wasn't it? Seeing two Aussies and obviously the two NBL next stars getting picked. So certainly been watching those four with interest. But obviously wanted to sort of talk about the top end of the draft there, Wood. So a little bit of a surprise on draft day, wasn't it? With Paolo Banchero going number 1. I mean, all the males seem to have Jabari Smith going number 1 for all the mock drafts for about the last month. So something obviously changed there. But what were your thoughts on Banchero going number 1 with Orlando? How surprised were you about that?
Yeah, for whatever reason, there was no pre-draft interview or workout between, Banchero and the Magic, right? So that was the big surprise. But obviously, they've seen something in him. I mean, regardless, they've got a great player there, and Orlando's they've got a lot of young pieces that are coming along.
Yeah, I like
and I think that this year they're going to have, some guys come back from injuries. Jonathan Isaacs and former overall number 1 overall pick, having a blank, Markel Fultz, right? So those guys are going to be back. Mo Bamba is going to keep developing.
They're one of those teams, they seem to have about 10 former lottery picks on that roster, don't they? So they've really got some talent there.
Cole Anthony as well. So, they've got a lot of guys there, right?
Yeah, and obviously, they've got Wagner there, and they've got, Suggs from last year. So
very,
very young team. So I think they've got a lot of salary cap for next year. So if they can have a decent year, perhaps push for that sort of play-in spot, they'll have some salary to perhaps get, like a veteran or, that sort of, mid-range, sort of mid-age sort of player next season. So it looks promising for Orlando. But what were your thoughts? We won't go, totally through the draft. What were your thoughts on maybe Holmgren going to OKC and then Jabari Smith for the Rockets?
Jabari Smith was pretty disappointed. Did you see that on his face when he wasn't? He didn't look happy at all.
I think you miss out on some money, don't you? I think the first pick slightly the scale goes down. I think
he expected to go to Orlando there, so that was a bit of a surprise. But I don't know. The think tank in Orlando must have thought, maybe a slightly better fit. I mean, either way, both teams have got two really great players, all-star level talent. So I think whether it be a Banchero, Smith, these guys are going to be great players. And then you've just got to make the situation work for yourself wherever you are, right? So as far as Chet, I'm still not 100% sold on him. I don't know how good he can be. As you said, he needs to get into the weight room. He's a bit of a unicorn there. He reminds me of Kristaps Porzingis.
He needs to get in the lunch room as well as the weight room, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah,
hey, I'll give it to you, Woods. Out of those top 3 picks, firstly, will any of them be multiple All-Stars, so more than one? And who will be the first, if any of them do, to make the All-Star team out of those 3? Putting you on the spot there.
I'd have to go with Jabari there.
Okay. Yep.
Like number 3 overall pick. I think he'll be the first to be an All-Star, and I think Banchero as well will be an All-Star. I think they'll both be multiple-time All-Stars, but I think Jabari Smith might get there first.
Not a lot of people remember Jabari Smith's dad playing. It's only those NBA diehards like us that probably do remember that. But yeah, it's definitely a blast from the past. I remember when all the draft were like, Jabari Smith, wow, I remember that name, like in whatever it was, late 90s or something like that.
Maybe we'll pull his dad's card in one of our packs.
Maybe, that'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? So I thought just to wrap up the draft stuff, maybe we can sort of talk about one guy, sort of out of that lottery that sort of, we've got some expectations for the season. Maybe I'll start off with that one. So I'll take your Hawks hat off and put it on. And I want to talk a little bit about AJ Griffin, who the Hawks drafted at pick 16. So coming out of Duke, he just had the one season at Duke. So he's the son of former NBA player Adrian Griffin, 10 seasons in the NBA. A lot of people will remember him. He's been on a lot of NBA benches these last few years as an assistant as well. Look, I think it's a pretty solid pick, actually. A lot of people were saying it could be a top 10 pick. So to get him at pick 16 was pretty good. The guy is only 18, a very good shooter as well. So it's certainly his game should translate to the modern day NBA. A few question marks about his defense, but look, I think he's got the size and everything that they can sort of work him into being a better defender there. So that's probably my sort of guy I'm looking out for there. Woods, what about you?
Yeah, look, I want to talk a little bit about Walker Kessler. And
like that name, don't you?
I do, and he was the 22nd pick to go to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I think Minnesota have addressed an issue here to get some real good interior presence there to put alongside, Karl Anthony Towns. And this guy's block rate was unbelievable. I mean, I'm talking 6 blocks per 30 minutes, right? I was just joking, the white Matumba, right? He played 2 years in college, 1 year at North Carolina where he didn't do much, but then he transferred to Auburn last year for his second year, started all 34 games. 11.4 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, and 4.6 blocks in just 25 minutes per game. And this kid has got a lot of defensive accolades that he garnered during his college career. Naismith Defensive Player of the Year, NABC Defensive Player of the Year, SEC Defensive Player of the Year. So, I mean, ex-McDonald's All-American.
So he was a teammate of Jabari Smith, wasn't he, at Auburn?
Yeah, he would have been. Yeah.
Pretty solid front line there.
Yeah. So, I mean, really excited to see what he can offer. I think Minnesota could do with someone like him. And yeah, that's the one guy I'm looking forward to.
Good call. I was going to say as well, I mentioned AJ Griffin for the Hawks. As much as we are excited about him, we're both obviously pretty aware that Nate McMillan, he's probably not a great fan of playing rookies there, is he? So didn't give any of the Hawks rookies any burn last year. Hopefully Okongwu gets a bit more. So probably not expecting to see a lot of court time for him. But look, on that, there's been a little bit of Hawks news, hasn't there, Wood? So look, we'll start off. Obviously, NBA free agency started today. So there's been a lot of moves. I'll throw it over to you, Woods. Tell me about some of the people sort of changing teams there that you're sort of most interested about so far, given we're sort of about 24 hours in.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, Jalen Brunson going to the Knicks.
Not a big surprise, was it? Yeah.
4 years, 104 million.
Yep.
I think that, I think one of our teammates yesterday at basketball was saying, look, I think he's getting paid a little bit too much, but I think 104 million, 4 years.
That's what Anthony Simons got with Portland. Mate, that guy had about 10 good games. He plays well for the last 10 games of the season. You never hear of the bloke again. So who would you trust, Jalen Brunson or Anthony Simons? I don't know who I'd be putting my money on there.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson showed in the playoffs what he can do. His dad's now on the coaching staff there, right? Whether that move was...
former NBL import there.
Yeah.
Rick Brunson.
So yeah, from Adelaide 36ers. I like that. I like the one I'm surprised about, Gary Payton, GP2, going to Portland. I just thought the Warriors might afford to keep him after his contributions last year, right?
There's been a few little ones as well, hasn't there? Like there was, guys like PJ Tucker signing with Philadelphia, and a few guys coming back to their teams, like Victor Oladipo's re-up with Miami, Bobby Portis is re-up with Milwaukee.
Patty Mills re-up 2 years with
Patty Mills, but I believe so. Look, obviously there was a trade as well between Washington and Denver. So I think Washington traded KCP and Ish Smith, who's going to break the record for most teams, to Denver for my boy Will Barton and Monty Morris. But am I right in thinking, Woods, there might have been another trade I think that's come through? Would you like to tell the viewers and the audience about that and what your thoughts are on that trade?
Incredible trade. So we have DeJounte Murray coming to our Hawks, right? Alongside our man, Jock Landale.
Yeah. And we traded an over-the-hill Italian who was basically out of contract anyway, and a bunch of draft picks that if the Hawks are going to be good like we think, will be like the 25th draft pick. And keeping in mind what we just said, that we don't play draft picks anyway. So, mate, I know we were both on the phone yesterday morning when that news came in. I'm thrilled about it, to be honest. I think we were a little bit worried it was going to be John Collins or someone else, but to give up Gallo, who we were going to get rid of 100% anyway, I'm still not quite sure what the Spurs are doing, to be honest. I mean,
so I was thinking about that.
A good contract. What are you doing?
I was thinking about that, right? The Spurs received 3 first-round draft picks and a future first-round draft swap. So I think they're going into complete rebuild mode, a little bit like Philly did with their the process situation there. And I think they're hoping to get the French kid maybe potentially next year in the draft, and like they did when they landed on Tim Duncan, many years back, and start from scratch. So I think that's the thinking there. We're going to get as much as we can to set up our future. By that same token, keeping Popovich there doesn't make sense because you really want to start tanking a little bit. And Pop's going to try and get wins anyway. Right?
I think Dr. Emmett Brown Popovich from Back to the Future might have finally lost the plot and been playing with his flux capacitor a little bit too much because, I'm baffled by that move. Yeah, they get some draft picks. Like I said, if the Hawks have the success we're expecting, these are not going to be high draft picks, but I should sort of say as well, San Antonio have had some good luck with guys late in the first round. They've had Keldon Johnson, they've had the forward, and also they've had DeJounte. So 3 pretty good players. Pretty fitting, isn't it, Woods, last year that you bought DeJounte Murray and Jock Landale jersey.
Oh, man, I did.
Both on the same, but that's still a good one to have, right? And we were talking today as well. I mean, I'm not sure if you count Ricky Grace. I mean, he had 2 10-day contracts with the Hawks in the late 90s. I'm not sure if he was even naturalized then, but this is the Hawks' very first Australian player they're going to have have on the team. So
yeah,
we've been longing for it for years. When are the Hawks ever going to get an Aussie? So now they've got Landale there. So that's great.
back then Ricky Grace wasn't naturalized either. At that point, he was still an American, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think I would actually look at moving on from Clint Capella here, right?
Awesome.
Give Okongwu that starting center role. Let him play if that will happen. And Jock Landale.
What did you call his first name? What did you call Okongwu's first name?
Onyeka.
Okay, well, you sounded different when you said it. No, I like that.
No, I just said Okongwu.
Okay, you know I'm a big fan of Okongwu there, so I think it's good. I think Jock Landale will be good. Kevin Herter will have a mate in the locker room again now, so he's always a bit outnumbered there, and in terms of the white boys on the Hawks there. So no, look, really pleased about that. I mean, I'm not 100% sure.
He's got Bogdanovic there.
Bogdanovic as well. But you remember when all the stuff was going with all the protests and that, he was the only white guy on the team. He was sort of doing all the marches with him. So I love a bit of red velvet there. But very excited. The fact we're still holding on to JC, still not totally sure the Hawks are done with moves there. I mean, I think you might find, Lou Williams will probably go there. I really hope they actually keep my boy DeLon there, because I think if they can have DeJounte and Trey.
He's gone, man. He's gone.
DeLon's gone?
Yes, he's signed. I will tell you, I just was reading, man. He has signed with the Wizards. 2 years, 16 million, man.
Well, that puts a damper on the podcast, doesn't it? I'm glad I didn't buy his jersey last year. That would have been a waste. But look, happy for DeLon Wright. He always seems to go to be a good player where he goes, but he's just always one of those players that's looking for that next big contract and stuff. But good luck to him there. Look, probably there's more we could talk about, Woods. We probably won't talk about them all, but we should probably talk a little bit about the Brooklyn Nets and the situation that's going on there. So obviously everyone saw the news with Kyrie. It was unusual, actually. Kyrie was trying to get his name into the news and everything this week and making everything all about him. So that was strange to me. I've actually never seen Kyrie do that. He normally seems to be a really normal person and a great teammate and everything else like that. People know that I'm sarcastic, right? So what were your thoughts on the whole Kyrie thing, and then obviously the news with KD today?
Yeah, look, I mean, are those two still really good friends?
You got to wonder now, right?
They were brothers, man. Every way you would hear them talk about each other would just be full of praise, right?
Yeah.
But I think there may be some bridges burnt there now.
Okay.
And I don't know, man. I think if Kevin Durant stayed around, there's no mandate for vaccinations anymore. Kyrie would have played more games this year. Patty Mills is just re-up. Seth Curry's there. You've got Ben Simmons potentially coming back. If you can get those guys on the court, the Brooklyn Nets would be a decent team this year, man.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I think that he should just stick with them and give it a try, because now the Nets don't have to send him to Phoenix where he wants to go, or Miami. They're going to be like, I'm going to send him wherever I want, man. Exactly. I don't care if the Spurs want him, man, or OKC want him. We'll send him back to OKC.
I agree. Man. They need to do whatever they can to kind of make this work and at least give it a season, because I don't think they've really had, the continuity and just getting those guys together. But yeah, as we said, they weren't great in the playoffs last year. It wasn't a good matchup with them against the Celtics, but the East is still very open. There's a lot of teams kind of on a similar playing field there. So if they were healthy and Kyrie decided that he actually wanted to be a normal teammate and a normal human being this year, I think there's a chance that they could go far, but there's a lot of ifs there. So it's going to be very interesting. I mean, the way this market's going, Woods, we might wake up tomorrow and there's been a trade or something like that, but we're not doing another podcast tomorrow, though, right? This will just
no, definitely not.
Let's have to be stuck with the record there. So, all right, no, that's good. So look, we'll certainly be back. We'll talk about our sort of schedule towards the end of the show, but we'll certainly be back, again this month and sort of give some more updates on the free agents and everything. And yeah, looking forward to talk a bit more about that. So, all right, unless you've got anything else to add on that, Woods, we might go into a bit of NBL free agency stuff and a bit of NBL1. So
that's good, man.
All right, so yeah, I might throw it over to you, Woods, for an NBL update. So look, it's been a week and a half or so since we last recorded. Just wanted to see what sort of moves have taken place, and then as well as that, maybe give us a bit of an update on the Boomers and the World Cup qualifiers that are going on at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just start off with your man, Scott Morrison, deciding to part ways with the Perth Wildcats. How you feel about that, man?
I'm pumping my fist for those that are only listening to the audio. I'm very pleased about that. Just a message to Scott Morrison, good riddance, and don't let the door hit you on the arse on the way out, mate, because you were not what our team wanted. You were just everything that was anti-Perth Wildcats. The way you handled yourself towards the end of the last season, disgraceful. I'll never forget it. Never want to mention this guy's name on this podcast ever again. Continue.
Well, tell us what you really think, Robbie.
That's right.
The good news is there's a lot of nice candidates that are, applying and interested in that Wildcats job, including ex-Sydney Kings coach Will Weaver, who recently parted ways with the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
So having someone I know you've been a bit critical on his substitution patterns and various different things about how he coached the Kings, but the guy's now gone, spent some time in the NBA, and he's probably come back with a lot more knowledge and experience.
He's a high pedigree coach for sure. I mean, look, if I was the GM there, if the SEN group want to add me there, I'll probably know a little bit more about the Wildcats and their franchise and history than they do. But I'd be recommending him to take a punt on none other than John Riley. I think he'd be a really good coach. Obviously, he's had a bit of success coaching over in the US. He's been involved with the Boomers teams over the years. But I just think he's a very smart player. I think he'll be someone that could communicate very well with the team there. So, yeah, that would be, look, if I was selecting, I know Jacob Chance has had an interview as well. The Tasmania Jack Jumper's current assistant there. But it'd be really for me if I had a choice. But, yeah, anyway.
So we saw Thon Maker yesterday play for the Boomers. We'll get into that a little bit later. I think John Riley's on that coaching staff at the moment, isn't he?
Right. Yeah. So hopefully that could be a bit of a warm up. And
so I was just thinking there, maybe there's some synergy there because word has come out the Thon Maker's agent's been talking to a lot of NBL teams. So potentially he could make a return to the NBL and join your Wildcats. We spoke about earlier how he's got roots in Perth, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
After watching him yesterday, though, did you still want
a bit rusty? Yeah. Is there anyone else to talk about, or do you want to go on to the Boomers stuff?
No, we'll maybe quickly go through a few of the signings. So the Jack Jumpers have signed Milton Doyle and Rashad Kelly, a shooting guard and a power forward. Both journeymen, played all over the world. And that completes their 3 imports. Now they've already got Josh Majette locked up, and that nearly finalized their roster already.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Derek Pardon, the Breakers have signed Derek Pardon.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, okay, all right. That's his name.
Modi Mayor has been targeting him for a long time since he took over the role. Apparently, he's a very versatile big man, can stretch the floor. And he's got a lot of experience playing overseas, so it'll be interesting to see what he can bring to the table. The one I want to talk about is Southeast Melbourne. They've signed Puerto Rican point guard Gary Brown, and by all reports, this guy's an absolute stud. He's 29 years old, so he's been around. His international career has included stints in Turkey, Italy, Israel, and Puerto Rico. He's the starting point guard right now on the Puerto Rican national team. I think we heard Matt McQuaid on the Clutch Roundtable podcast the other day speak about him briefly as well. That he comes.
Geez, they change that point guard import spot, or the guard import spot every year seemingly now, don't they?
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to talk about. Robertson, Kiefer Sykes. Last year they had Xavier Munford, right? So it's been a bit of musical chairs at that point guard position for Southeast Melbourne, but maybe they've found a good one here in Brown. Let's see what he can offer.
Interesting. I saw your boy JLA's saying he's definitely not coming back as well. So that's a pretty big hole for United to fill there, isn't it? But I don't know. I have this feeling, but I have a feeling that they're going to be getting Diop Reith. I don't know.
Diop Reith, man. No, there's already talk about it.
I have a feeling, and keeping up that tradition of former Perth people not going back to play for the Wildcats. I could probably read you a list as long as my arm of those players. But hey, if Diop Reith or Thon goes back, but I could definitely see Diop Reith going to United and just really carving up a really good role with them.
Yeah, or Thon Maker, because they have deep pockets, Melbourne United, right?
Yeah,
and those boys are going to be asking for a bit, right?
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Good call. All right. Well, why don't you tell us about the Boomers? So I know they played their first game last night against China. 7-point win.
Yeah. And I mean, shout out to Delhi, 16.7 rebounds, 4 assists, really led the team well. I know we went through that team sheet with AJ Ogilvy when he was on the show. Yeah. And we spoke very highly of the team. But an interesting fact that I heard on commentary was the highest PPG points per game scorer on that team was Jack McVeigh at about 11.9. So they didn't have a bona fide scorer, like highest points per game in the NBL last year. They didn't have a bona fide 15, 16 plus points per game guy. So it's by committee. And they developed a 16-point lead, and it was tied.
Shot well, didn't they?
Yeah. But in the fourth quarter, they lost that 16-point lead, and the Chinese team had a lot of pluck in them, and they tied the ball game twice, and they really had to work for that victory.
The rebound count was pretty bad, wasn't it? I think China out-rebounded the Boomers by about 20. I got to say, Woods, I did have the box score open there. With these FIBA international tournaments, they have all the official first names. It did look quite funny to read a box score, I've got to say. So you've got Clinton Harold Steindl, you've got Samuel McDaniel, you've got Jackson White, and you've got Samson Froling playing. So I thought that was pretty cool reading all them. Mitchell McCarron, of course. But yeah, Samson Froling, Yeah, Clinton Steinhoff.
Yeah, shout out to Mitch McCarron. I don't think he missed a shot last
He was
night.
good, wasn't he? What happened to your boy Keanu Pinder? He was the only one that didn't get
Yeah,
off the bench.
DNPCD, right?
What happened to that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he gets a game to get some game time tonight. There's a game going on as we speak with
time
Japan.
of recording Friday the 1st of July. Yeah, so we'll both be watching it after we hit record, and hopefully the recording works after this episode. But no, it's interesting. And then we've got another game on Sunday. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, China again.
Okay, China.
And they're going to make us work really hard. Even Japan, man. I think
Joe Chi looked pretty good.
Oh, he looked great.
I think Bubba's maybe in the
he's in the
summer league.
He's in the summer league. You're right.
He might not be there, but yeah, I mean, Joe Chi was really sort of handy last night, wasn't he? So yeah, interesting. So it's good to get some sort of games at the moment, isn't it? It's funny, we're in that, no NBL or NBA, but it's just been a huge week of, people moving and sort of different names coming up. And that's great. Well, so I might just quickly sort of go on to just a bit of an NBL1 update. What do you reckon? So, yeah, obviously, just wanted to talk about, I won't sort of go a lot into each conference this week, but wanted to talk about the performance of the week last week, Wood. So, NBL1 South. So, basically, none other than big man Harry Froling went absolutely nuts in the game on Saturday. So, he plays for Hobart, and they played Mount Gambier in a top-of-the-table clash. So, Hobart, Froling's team won. He went off for 43 points and 16 rebounds in a win there, and also got on fire, hitting 7 of 11 three-pointers. So, we saw that shooting touch he had last year. He had that one big game for Illawarra as well. So yeah, great to see Big Harry doing that. He's obviously, his brother Samson Froling was playing for the Boomers last night. So I'm always going to call him Samson now. I'm sorry, he's not Sam anymore. But pretty strong effort there by Froling. And also I thought it was interesting with that Boomers team we've just been speaking about before. I think 10 of the guys on that team are currently playing NBL1. So that's sort of testament to how strong that league's become. And again, I say it every week, but get along and support your local team. You're going to be sort of seeing guys that are playing for Australia. There's NBA G League players that are involved, players that have played in the WNBA, WNBL current players. So yeah, it's a great league there. So on that as well, very excited about this weekend, Wood. So I've got the old 4 games to commentate for the Hills Hornets this weekend. So tomorrow night, the Hills men and women are taking on Canberra. That should be pretty good. I know the Canberra men's team's a really strong team. Canberra women's team's got a few WNBL players. They've got Lizzie Tonks, they've got Duffelmeyer, a few others on that team. So looking forward to that. And then also they back up again on Sunday for another 2 games there where Hills are taking on the Inner West Bulls there. So I know there'll be a few former guests coming out to watch these games and friends of the show, Wood. So I've already been speaking with Matt McQuaid this week, who's involved with Inner West Bulls there. So he's going to be coming out, and he said he might give me a bit of heckling from behind the bench if I make any mistakes there. So shout out to Matt there. And of course, we're hoping AJ will make his home debut there. So I know my daughter got to meet AJ this week at a training session. She said he was absolutely lovely. So
I saw the photo.
Great photo, wasn't it? My wife said it was the tallest man she'd ever seen in her life. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, looking forward to hopefully see him make his debut tomorrow. And of course, TJ will be out there as well. But I believe he might be coming along to some games as well.
Yeah, I'll come on both days, man. I just got the all clear from the wife. So I'll try and come to both the men's and women's on Saturdays, and at least the men's on Sundays. What time's the game tip off on Sunday, by the way?
So it's 11:30 and 1:30. Women at 11:30. So, and keep in mind in a couple of weeks as well, Woods, Hills are playing Norths. As you probably know, Norths have got 1 current Sydney Kings and 2 former Sydney Kings on the roster. So
I know.
Come out and see Iggy Mitchell, Patrick the Colonel Sanders, and Anatoly Bose. So you can come out and see them. So
I'm excited to see Patrick Sanders, man.
I think Hills could be in a little bit of trouble that game. North's got a pretty strong team there. But no, I'm really looking forward to that. And look, as again, I do say it every week, but get out and support your NBL1 teams. There's games obviously now. I'm probably going to be firing up the NBL1 app after we finish recording and checking out some of those games. I know a lot of the NBL1 South teams play on Friday night there. So yeah, looking forward to that. So all right, Woods,
awesome.
It's that time again. We didn't do it on the last episode. So look, we've had a few people writing in. They're just wanting more of the classic packs that we do there. So I believe you've got a new pack for us this week. So yeah, why don't you take it away and show us who you got this week?
Yeah, so I got the 93-94 Fleer pack. Right? I love these cards.
Yeah. Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Just get it open.
Always like the old Fleer cards. You've missed this too, Woods, haven't you, after not having this for a week?
I have. All right, so let's do this. All right, the first one is someone Andrew Canyon, a contemporary would really like, a white guy from the Houston Rockets. Number 50, I'm speaking of.
Matty Bullard.
Matt Bullard.
I don't need many clues with these numbers as well. And he was a bit ahead of his time. He was the big sort of white guy. And he wasn't a big white stiff because he was a hell of a shooter, that guy. He was very good in those, mid sort of 90s Rockets teams there. So, yeah, I liked a bit of Matt Bullard there.
All right. I got the Bullets, a forward from the Bullets, 6'8" tall, number 33, undrafted. This is a random one. Any idea?
33. I'm blanking on this one. Nah, tell us who that is. Not Harvey Grant.
Larry Stewart.
Larry Stewart. Okay, yeah, I probably wouldn't have got that one.
And these are really nice cards on the back. Remember
these?
Oh,
very nice, aren't they? Yeah, yeah, I like those. What do you say, 93, 94, right?
Yep, 93, 94 Fleer.
Very good, yeah.
Okay, I've got a Lakers card of this man whose name is forever going to be linked with Michael Jordan. Okay, not necessarily for the best reasons, but in folklore. I'm talking about injury riddle center.
Drafted in front of him.
Yes,
yeah, a bit of Sam Bowie. Yeah,
Sam Bowie, and we have pulled a lot of Sam Bowie cards, haven't we?
And look who's guarding him, Woods.
Oh, Lucian Longley.
Lucian Longley, number 13 for the Timberwolves. Yeah, obviously Felton Spencer was on the bench and Longley was getting the minutes there. But yeah, we have spoken a bit about Sam Bowie in the past.
I'm not Patty Mills. I'm not Chris Mills. I am Terry Mills.
Yeah, Detroit, sort of Michigan native there. I think he might have gone to Michigan State. He
did indeed.
He was a strong scorer, wasn't he? He was a bit of a big unit there. He sort of had that big body and he could shoot and that. But am I right in thinking that's Sam Bowie that's guarding him in that card as well, Woods?
No, I don't think so. I think that could be Dwayne Shinsius.
Oh, nice. With his okay. All right.
Okay, I'm talking about revolutionary European big man who came here. Came to the US in the late 80s with the Lakers. An amazing passer.
Is the picture, is he smoking a cigarette and taking a flop on the floor? Or?
He's not, but he probably had a cigarette as he walked off, off the court. Vlade Divac.
Vlade, that's awesome. Yeah, love the way that guy played. I've got his Lakers, actually Sacramento jersey in one of the wardrobes. I should pull out one day. But yeah, love the way that guy could pass the ball as well. He was very high basketball IQ player, wasn't he? Bit of Vlade Divac there.
As my dad used to call him, Vlad Divac.
Vlad Divac. Nice, we'll go with that. You tell you what, if I heard that name, I think he was a Russian. If I heard Vlad Divac, I'd be like, oh yeah, from Moscow or something. Yeah, but no.
All right, I'm talking about a super athlete, center, very successful in dunk comps. Both his son and him have played for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Did he perhaps dunk two balls at the same time?
He did indeed.
Another Larry Nance.
Larry Nance Sr.
Wow. Yeah, I like the way that guy played back in the day. It's what Hubert Davis in that card. I think Nance is probably going to score that one over the shorter defender.
Yeah, it is Hubert Davis. Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking Hawks cards, Woods. What's going on?
Okay, now I'm talking about LL Cool J's bodyguard. Big man, really weird free throw technique. Rest in peace to him. I was a huge fan of his.
Got to be Anthony Mason from the Knicks.
Mace. Wow. Anthony Mason.
Shooting with his right hand in that one too. But yeah, Anthony Mason, another guy I've got his jersey that I should pull out. Woods. He was an absolute sort of cult following with him, wasn't it?
Loved him. And post-retirement, he did work as a bodyguard for LL Cool J. So
don't blame him. I don't think anyone would walk anywhere near that bloke.
No relation to the mailman, but teammates on the Utah Jazz. I'm talking of God.
Does he wear my favorite number 24? Bit of Jeff Malone,
does indeed. Jeff Malone.
I remember him playing with the Bullets as well back in the day, and with Utah, he was a bucket, wasn't he?
Man!
Don't know that he did a whole lot else, but yeah, he could certainly score the ball, couldn't he?
Yeah, you're looking at 20 plus PPG every season from 1987 all the way through to 92, 93.
What height was he out of interest? Like 6'5" or something?
6'4".
6'4", so he's a two guard. Interesting. He seemed to sort of fade out of the league pretty quick, didn't he, Jeff?
Yeah. Another underrated player. Rest in peace to him too. We've pulled a lot of his cards. This is a special award winner, 6th Man of the Year card for Portland Trailblazers legend Uncle Cliff Robinson.
I got to say, Woods, I'm getting these without a lot of clues today, so I know Stewie's going to be listening from the Sports Blokes trying to outdo me this week, but we'll have to see how he goes. Right?
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
a nice card too. I like that.
You know, I love my Georgetown centers. This guy was a beast playing on those Hornets teams in the early 90s before moving to Miami. I'm talking about none other than...
what would an Irish maybe say? Top of the morning, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Alonzo morning.
Ooh,
And
that's
listed
a bit of Hot Rod Williams guarding him there too, right?
Listed at 6'10", you know, he's maybe even about 6'9".
I was about to say 6'8", 6'9", maybe.
Yeah.
He
So I
definitely
mean,
wasn't as big as those big 7-footers around the time, but he was
a
just
lot of his contemporaries were, you know, a lot taller than him.
Hey,
not a lot, but a little bit.
He was one of those early NBA guys, Woods, that had muscles on top of muscles, didn't he? When not a lot of those big guys were sort of that cut up the top sort of thing. He was a big, strong man, wasn't he?
Yeah, had a decent mid range as well, you know. Yeah. I'm talking
solid pack, by the way.
Oh, definitely. I'm talking about. Okay, you said John Riley, right? That guy's pretty bald, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this guy is bald as the baldest head ever. Point guard on those great Portland Trailblazers team.
Yeah. Number 30.
Number 30. Terry Porter.
Nice. I used to like Porter back in the day. He was a good shooter, good distributor. He had a cup of coffee in the coaching ranks too, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think it worked out that well.
Didn't work out that well at all, you know? Yeah. I'm talking about legendary Bulls center, played on those great teams in the early 90s.
Luke Longley.
No. Number 42. Undrafted.
North Carolina's own, Scott Williams.
Nice,
mate. Those number clues will give it to me every time.
I know.
There. That might have been my boy Lionel Simmons in that card as well. Nice.
This is a special card, a nickname card on the most versatile big man to ever play the game that I've ever seen, in my opinion, right?
John Koncak.
We're not talking about Greg Kite, John Koncak, Jim McIlvaine. We're not talking about any of those guys, all right? We're talking about...
I think I might have had a dream.
Oh, the dream. And look at this beautiful painting of him on the front of his
car. He's got a tiger behind him. A tiger.
You know, like this is paying homage to his African roots.
Why have they got a tiger though?
I don't know.
People always think tigers come from Africa and they don't.
Yeah, but I mean, and elephants as well, right?
Yeah. No, I like it. Nice looking card.
And then on the back, these are beautiful. Just tells a little story about him, right?
Very good. Yeah.
Okay, I know you've been wanting this guy's jersey for a long time. That's not a great clue, but this guy was under 6 foot. He's a pogo stick. Played for the Denver Nuggets. Could throw down. In-game dunks that looked amazing.
Does his nickname also go with a very old video game as well?
It does indeed.
Pac-Man, my boy Robert Pack.
Hey,
as you know, Woods, that's been an eBay alert that I've had for the last 15 years, I reckon. So anytime there's a jersey of his that pops up, I get an email alert. They just never seem to come up. So, yeah, if anyone knows how I can get one, that's literally one of the ones at the top of my list of Robert Pack. I'll take anyone. Take a Washington, Denver, anything like that. But no, that's a...
Big fan of his.
Oh, he was awesome, wasn't he? Great player to watch.
All right, so I've got this guy's jersey on the Timberwolves. Okay, but this is his Pacers card. He was drafted by Minnesota in 1989. He was a point guard. Okay, he could.
Yes, would a clue be a toilet, possibly?
Yeah. Okay.
The toilet. Pooh Richardson, right? That's the clue.
Pooh Richardson.
Wow, he's wearing the old Flojo Indiana Pacers jerseys there as well. Wearing the 24 that I like as well. Yeah, nice. These are nice looking cards. What a great pack though, Woods. Is that the last one or you got more?
Last one, man. That's it. I love these Flair 93, 94. Yeah. Brilliant.
Solid pack, good mix of sort of players there. Had some sort of funny names, some superstars, and some sort of players we pulled before, and that's good stuff. Nice to have the classic packs back, man.
Yep, awesome.
Right. Well, that sort of takes us towards the end of the show now. So look, really, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. As I mentioned at the start of the show, please make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Also, we wanted to mention there is another Throwback Hoops that has an account on YouTube. They're rubbish. Don't follow them. So basically, it's like I've got a channel there that basically uploads old NBA videos, but I think I actually had heard a mate say the other day he'd actually subscribed to that one, thinking it was ours. So don't do that. Look for obviously the hawk with the 2 microphones. You can see the logo on our screen all the time when you're watching the video. So make sure you hit subscribe and you'll get updates. And that's probably important as well at the moment. I might as well say it now, Wood. So we're not going to be doing the each and every week like we've been doing the last, 36, 37 weeks or so. We are going to sort of be a little bit more sporadic, but we'll still be bringing you content every couple of weeks. And look, obviously, if there's massive news and big moves in the NBA next week, I'm sure we'll be back. But we'll start ramping things up again, probably, maybe towards the latter part of August, where we'll start sort of doing some previews. We've got some big guests we've already sort of got confirmed to come on sort of to help us do some previews, some returning guests there. That's a few little sort of clues for everyone there. But no, that's sort of the schedule going forward. Look, just a reminder where we can sort of be followed. So on Twitter, we're at Throwbacks Hoops. Instagram, we're throwback.hoops. of course, our email, keep the requests coming through with throwbackhoopspodcast@gmail.com. I know a lot of people have given feedback about us wearing these Aussies that have played in the NBA jersey. So we thought we might ramp it up a little bit from the next episode there and start pulling out some really random jerseys that we've got in the collection, Woods. And, also not just to show off these random jerseys, but kind of sort of educate some people, people that don't maybe know some of these players there. So looking through the wardrobe, trying to find this Thon maker jersey. Some of the ones I was pulling through, I was like, wow, I cannot wait to wear that. Just players that I hadn't thought of that name for years.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
Look forward to that. So, yeah, why don't you tell everyone where they can sort of find us on Patreon there, Woods?
Yeah, so jump onto Patreon. You can just Google Patreon and then search for Throwback Hoops. Any support that you guys can pledge to us, we'll appreciate it. Yeah?
Absolutely. If you're listening to us, guys, go on and chuck us a couple of dollars our way for the month. It doesn't go into our pockets. As people don't know, there is a lot of costs associated with bringing the podcast. There's podcast hosting fees. There's, software fees that I do my amazing editing job on every week as well, right, Wood? So all the stuff there. So look, if anyone's willing to help, no pressure, obviously, but we'd certainly appreciate, and we do really appreciate the people that have already done that so far. So, all right, so look, we've talked about the schedule there. So it probably brings us a little bit towards the end of the show, Woods. Look, as we said, we're still on a bit of a high about this DeJounte Murray news.
Oh, absolutely,
right? So,
man. Yeah.
Interesting as well, number 5. So I've probably got about 20 plus number 5 Atlanta Hawks jerseys already, Woods, and my boy Jay Smooth there. So
I know.
Maybe I can just sort of scrub something out with Smith and put Murray on there. I don't have to buy any money at the team store. So no, great news there. But look, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of moves in the coming days. Obviously,
yeah, there will be.
Free agency. Who knows where KD will go? There's a lot of sort of pieces to fall. Where will DeAndre Ayton go, and a few other people like that. So looking forward to see what happens. Support the Boomers. Watch their games. As we said, by the time this comes out now, they would have played Japan with a game against China to come. And of course, as I say every week, get out and support the NBL1. There's a local team where everyone's living, so get out and support it. And if you're not able to get to a game live, jump on the NBL1 app and stream the games from there. All right, final word, Woods.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. As Robbie said, get out to the NBL1 if you can. If you're in your area, wherever it is, have a look where your local game is and try and support it. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. And look, a big thank you and a peace out from the Throwback Hoops crew.